Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Topic number 401 today, and we're going to be talking about how to choose the right CRM for your small business. CRMs, customer relationship management databases. The database always drops off the end of it. It is shortened to CRM, but it is a database. And what it is, it's a tool that lets you collect all of the information about your customers into a database and then allow you to do different things with that data. Now, what are those different things? Well, you can track sales. The first thing that a CRM is normally used to do is to track sales and to track how much a customer is buying and what they're buying and give you all of that lovely data so you can see what they're doing. Other things a CRM can be used for, well, it's manifest. There's so many things. I use Zoho CRM and I'm still just scratching the surface on what I can do with it. But I've done things like set up, when I do my inspirations, I have a module that tracks all the inspirations I'm doing and when they go out and where they've gone out and what the links were that they went out on. So that if someone says to me, well, where is this inspiration? I can go back and look at it, or I can say to someone, find that inspiration, find the link for it. We need to send that link out to someone. So that's another use for your CRM. But if we just go back just to even your customer data, name, address, maybe your date of birth, honestly, Charly, date of birth, phone numbers, email addresses, preferences in terms of food, maybe if you're going to take them out to dinner or send them stuff and knowing what they like, what they're buying, what their bank account details are, what their ABN is or their business number is. I'm just trying to think of all the things that I've got listed. Okay, and then I go into things like what type of services have they got for me? Are they a current customer? Are they a past customer? Are they a hosting customer? Are they a contract customer? Are they a one-off, like a web dev type customer? I've got all of that information recorded against the people that my business interacts with. Are they a supplier? Are they a subcontractor? There you go. There's the other side of the coin there too. I've got all of that information recorded against each customer, and I can go and run reports, create filters, and pull that list of information out of my CRM. Like I said, I'm still scratching the surface on what I can do with my CRM. There's so much more I can do, and one of the things I need to do is take my own advice that I'm about to give you guys in this video and go back through my base processes to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and I'm getting the most that I can out of my CRM. So the thing that you really need to do when someone says to you, you need a CRM, you're using a spreadsheet, you need a CRM. Maybe a spreadsheet is all you need to start with. I will encourage you, though, even as you start your business, to sit down and have the things that you need to track for your customers at least written down and documented. Maybe a spreadsheet will do it for the short term. Maybe it will do it for the long term. Maybe you need something else. But unless you know what it is you need, you don't know what it is you need. So make sure you identify your needs. What is it that your business specifically requires in terms of customer data? Let's just talk customer data, unless you're someone who does labour hire and stuff, or you've got a lot of subcontractors that you need to manage. What is it you need to know about your subcontractors? What is it you need to know and gather about the people that your business does business with? What processes can you automate, or do you want to automate within your business? Do you want to automate that when someone sends in a request for quote, that it's put against their record, and then it creates a little record within your CRM or within a system that says there's a request for quote needed, here's the information that they want? How many users are going to need access to your CRM? Now, by users, we're not talking about your customers being able to get in and modify their data. I'll come back to that one as well, remind me. But how many users, how many of your team members are going to need access? Is it just you, or is there multiple people who are going to need access? And what sort of access are they going to need? What systems does your CRM need to integrate with? Email marketing, e-commerce platforms, your accounting system. Where do you need those? Where are those touch points from your CRM to say, oh, they've made a purchase in my e-commerce platform. I need that to go back into their record to say they've made that purchase. We've sent out a marketing message to our people. We want to know who responds to it. We want to know what sort of interactions we're getting from it, from that specific client. What do you need to integrate? Finally, how scalable does this need to be? Are you expecting to have a massive growth in a short period of time? Are you expecting to go from one customer to 100,000 customers really quickly? Or are you looking to grow slowly and you're going to be a 20 customer or a 40 customer or a 50 customer business for a long while? So think about the needs that you have with your CRM. I'm going to put out there that if you guys need to do some work on this and it's all a little bit too much, there are people like myself and like a couple of the people I work with who actually will work you through these things, these questions. We'll ask you how your business works. We'll ask you how you want your business to work and start to create these needs analysis documents for you. I really recommend that if you're having trouble getting this information yourself, get some help. It will make it so much easier for you. Even if you don't go any further with the CRM, you just put that stuff aside for now, you're going to have a whole heap of information that you didn't know you knew or you needed to know to begin with. When you're choosing the CRM, you really need to think about your user experience. If you have a CRM that is really difficult to use or requires a lot of clicks or needs them to log in somewhere, and I've actually had them, I actually feel like I need to stand on one leg, hold my tongue one way, wave my hand around, and now I can get access to the area that I need. It's not quite that bad, but that's how it feels sometimes. So your CRM's usability is really, really important for your users, your team members, to be able to adopt it and use it. It needs to have intuitive interfaces, especially when you've got small teams especially when you've got small teams. If you don't have a dedicated IT support person, an intuitive interface to say, where do I need to find this information, is an absolute necessity. You also want, particularly in this day and age, you also want to be able to have a good mobile access interface. I have seen so many great systems, not just CRMs, but CRMs is one of the big ones because you've got a lot of data that you need to interact with. And I've seen them where they work perfectly well on your screen. And then you get onto your mobile and you're like, I need to find this information. Where is it? And oh no, you can't get that information on the mobile app. You need to log in on the web to get that information. It needs to have a really good mobile interface, mobile access, so that your staff can access and your team members can access that data wherever they are. Not just when they're on the move. I mean, I work with remote team members. Some of them work at home. Some of them actually go and sit down and have a coffee and go through some of the things that they need to do, and they check it on their phone. Really, really important. Finally, well, no, not finally. There's so much here. You need to consider the costing on it. Some look really good. They look really inexpensive, and they look, oh, this is great. I can get all my team members can have access. And then you get into it, and it doesn't cost us a lot of money. And then you get into it, and you've got very little functionality, very few benefits, and the system really isn't all that usable or beneficial for your business. You've already spent money setting up the CRM by the time you get to that point, and it's such a disappointment when you get in and you've put in data and you start to use it and you work out it's just not going to cut the mustard. So you've really got to think about your cost versus features and what your cost benefit analysis is. There is a balance. Like I said, some offer you a low entry price, but they lack key features. Others might be pricier, but they offer more customization or integration options. Again, that's why that needs analysis is so important, because you can take that needs analysis, you can take the benefits and the features that these programs are giving you, and you can do a tick and flick. Does it do this? Yes. Does it do this? Yes. Does it do no? Does it do that? No. What of these are really important? What of these aren't important? Right, this one is a no-go because it's not meeting my top requirements. So think about your cost benefit analysis. Also have a look at, is it a one-time payment? Is it an ongoing subscription model? Are there free versions that have got potential limitations? Can you host it yourself? If you host it yourself, you've got to think about your own maintenance on it, your own maintaining the systems that the CRM runs on. So it might be cheaper because you don't have the subscription costs, but then you've got the balance on that is that you've still got to maintain it yourself. If it's a one-time payment, what are the upgrade options? What are upgrades going to cost you? Are they included in the fee? Is there any information there about grandfathering pricing, so that if you've purchased it once and they change their model later, what happens to you as a long-term user of that product? All sorts of things that you've got to consider when you're looking at how the pricing is set out. And consider your long-term costs. So when I said all of that, I said things like, what's your hosting going to cost you? What's your maintenance going to cost you? What's your customization going to cost you? What can you amortize over? Spread the cost out over a longer time. And what is it going to cost you up front to do it? So when you're looking at your cost benefit analysis, it's not just this is going to cost me $67 a month and this is going to cost me $100 outright. You've got so much more you've got to dig into there before you can really be certain that one is better than the other. I mentioned integration. It's so easy to overlook the integration requirements of your CRM. I mentioned email, I mentioned accounting, I mentioned email marketing. What was the other one I mentioned? Dear, oh dear. Oh, e-commerce. It's really important that you get that listed out. It's really important you understand all the systems that you currently use in your business and what you're going to want to integrate, have connected to your CRM, and what you're going to need to have integrated with your CRM. You can use, often that there's APIs, advanced programming interfaces. They're little connectors that sit on the outside of your CRM software and software in general, and allows other software to connect in and send data and draw data out. That requires a little bit of programming knowledge generally, so that's another cost that you've got to consider. Some have pre-built integrations, and some you can use the third-party apps like Zapier, like Make.com, that can extend that CRM functionality. But really understand where your needs are for your integration and consider that. Really understand what your integration requirements are, what your needs are, and what your must-haves are. I think one of the things that I actually want to point out with your APIs, sometimes there's also things called webhooks, which are similar to APIs. They're things that are written that you can send a request to using a web address and send information in or pull information out. The thing that you need to watch with the APIs and really be aware of is whether you can actually, whether it's a two-way interface, you can send data and receive data from it, whether you can only send data in or whether you can only receive data from it. I have had systems where people say, but there's an API and I need to pull this data out. And then when you get into the documentation of it and you start reading the API, no, you can't pull the information out. It only takes information in. And that stymies us when we're trying to do an integration. It stymied us on a couple of occasions because that understanding wasn't there. Not that I'd expect people to really have that understanding up front, particularly if they're not technical, but it's a good question to start asking is how does the data flow using the APIs and webhooks that are there and the pre-built integrations. Finally, make sure that you have some support and training resources available to you. What kind of support? Let's talk about support and training resources. YouTube channels are good. If it's not a YouTube channel, do they have a video library that have got a whole series of how-tos? How to do this, how to do that, what this interface does, how we use this interface. That to me is worth $1 million. If you're stuck, you're not sure how to do something, being able to pull up a video, even just being able to pull up a step-by-step guide that says, go here, do this, here's the screenshot of what it looks like. This is how you do things. Make sure that those things are being updated regularly. I have had some systems, yes, we've got a whole library of information, and when I've gone in to get the training out of it, to get the how-tos out of it, it's 6 or 7 versions out of date and the screens have all changed and it doesn't work like that anymore, and they haven't updated their information, their training resources. In many ways, that's next to useless, to be perfectly honest, especially when, oh, you go to this screen, well, that screen no longer exists, so where is that screen now? Oh, well, that screen's now down this menu here, and you've got to do this and you've got to do that. It doesn't help. So make sure your training and support resources are up to date. Make sure that they've got them available to you. Most small businesses don't have dedicated IT people to spend time to do this, and it's really important that you can get that information out really quickly. Look at the kind of support that is offered. Is there 24/7 support? Is it phone? Is it email? Is there chat? Is it community forums? If it's community forums, jump on the community forums before you invest, and have a look at the types of questions being asked and have a look at the types of responses they're getting. Look at how long it takes for an answer to come back on a forum. Sometimes community forums can be really good, and sometimes they can be like screaming into the void. You ask a question and there's nothing there. So just be aware of what the sorts of support are. If sorry, original thought, tripped over my own tongue. With support, though, you may not necessarily need to go directly to the company. You may be able to find a small business that specializes in supporting that particular product. They may be a partner or a reseller, and they've got the training to do it. So that's useful to consider as well. Do they run webinars? Do they have downloadable user guides? Do they have onboarding guides? All the sorts of things you need to think about when you are looking at a CRM. Now, I'm going to summarize all of this by saying a CRM to me is one of the most important tools a business can implement, because it's going to help you improve your customer relationship. It's what's called a customer relationship management database. A CRM doesn't have to be a full-blown piece of software or full-blown tool. You may find that a spreadsheet or a series of spreadsheets works fine for you in the short term. You won't know that unless you've gone through and done a needs analysis. You won't know when it's time to move. Well, you might know it's time to move, but you generally won't know it's time to move unless you've done that needs analysis. You will know it's time to move at some point because nothing is going to work for you and you're really stressed and you're dropping the balls on delivering to your customers, and you don't want to get to that point. There's a lot of things to consider when you are looking at a CRM. Most CRMs are, and yes, I know there are ones out there. People say these are wonderful, and they work for those people. That's great, but understand that they work the way they work. A lot of them aren't customizable. You can do what it is they let you do, and maybe that's fine for you, but do that needs analysis to begin with. Make sure you've got it written down so that you know what it is you're prepared to compromise on and what it is that you will not compromise on when you take up these tools. If you want to talk about this further, reach out, book a time to talk to me. I'd love to chat about it. Come and join me on my locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com, and we can have a chat over there about it. CRMs they're a really powerful tool. Used properly, they're a really powerful tool. Done badly, they're a liability. I'd love to see you over there. You can reach out via DM on any of my social media channels. You can leave comments wherever you're watching or listening to this video. If you can, please like this video. I'd love for you to do that. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.